I want to focus more on Fast CMA today. And so I'm going to go back to the foreclosure list and I'm going to find a property that I'm interested in. So let's say I go door knocking or I'm doing calling or whatever, and I have an appointment with one of these homeowners. So I want to know what that property is going to be worth. So let's find a good one here. I didn't look at these ahead of time. Usually I try to do that, but the neighbor's dog pushed his way through the hole in the fence and started a fight with my dog right before this call. So that was my excitement for the day. So let's find, here's a 3-2. I have no idea where this zip code is, but let's just go, let's see how much equity they have here. 52,000, 35%, that would be a good deal. So I'm built in 1979, so it's not too old. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to copy this address. I'm also going to take note that it's 1790 square foot and built in 1979. And I'm going to go back to my Fast CMA and I'm going to paste that address in there. So now I'm going to click on it here. So it means Google found the address. Look up. This property has not been listed on the MLS in any recent history. If it had been, it would give you all the history of that here. It would say when it's sold, when it was pending, things like that. All that MLS information would show up here, but this one has not been listed. So I'm going to click on it. And then I'm going to go here to find comparables. Now we have two automated ARV algorithms. One is distance, and that's going to go out a half a mile and put priority on choosing comps that are closest to our subject property and have sold most recently. ARV subdivision is going to go out a little further. It'll go up to a mile and put priority on choosing comps that are within the same subdivision. They're both going to pull all the sold properties that are within 20% of the square footage and within 10 years of the year build. And then go, custom CMA lets you set your own parameters as far as how long ago it's sold, how far out. You can go out like 5 or 10 miles. Year build, you know, if it's a really old house or a really new house, you might want to reduce the year build range. And you might need to adjust the square footage range sometimes to get the right number of comps as well. But I'm going to start with subdivision. But here I need to put in the year built because that data was not on the MLS, and the square footage. And property subtype here, it's not a townhouse. These two really mean the same thing. The only difference is how the real estate agent entered the data into the MLS. Other categories in Houston that I can search for or comp would be multifamily, vacant lots. In DFW, you also, I know, get a half duplex is one of your options. So the options here for property type and subtype are all dependent on your local MLS. So they'll just be a little different if you're in a different area. So click run comparables, and it told me it found 11 sold. That's a good number. 1 active, there are no non-active, and 3 leased in that area. So that looks good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and run the CMA. Here it is. According to our subdivision algorithm, the ARV of that house is going to be about 188,000. Now the computer algorithm is good, but it's not perfect. So I want to check these things out for myself and make sure that I agree with the ones that the computer picked. The computer can't look at the pictures, for example, and see if they've been fixed up or not. And if you're looking at this for your ARV, you want to make sure you're comparing it to properties that have been fixed up already. So this one, 1952 square feet, very, very similar. This is a 4-3. These ones are 4 bedrooms. Ideally, we want to compare a 3-bedroom with a 3-bedroom, But as this is kind of, well, 4 bedrooms, at least one of those bedrooms is small enough to be considered an office. I guarantee you it's only going to be a 10 by 10. So we know from our chart that it was a 3-2. You can compare whether it's a 2-story, 1-story. If I click here, it's going to give me the realtor's comments about that property. So that also is a good thing to tell you if it's been fixed up or not, and a good comp. This one, nice covered patio, many upgrades, new carpet, kitchen counters, baths. So that one's good, been fixed up. If one of these that the computer chose, and you can see this blue one means the computer chose it. If they chose one that I didn't want to use, I would just uncheck this box, and you can see it automatically adjusts this sold price based on the ones that are checked. So I can scroll through here and look at the others. Here's the next one a computer chose. You can see the price per square foot for it, how close it is. Recency is how many days ago it sold. So 92 days, 15 days, ideally you want them in 3 to 6 months. Sometimes you don't always get what you want. Here's days on market, another important metric to look at. So these two that sold were only on the market for 3 days. This one was 9-10 months ago. It sat for 68 days. This is a great stable neighborhood, well kept. So this one had not really been fixed up completely. So you can read all those remarks and compare and make sure you're selecting the ones that you want. Again, if I might look at this one and say, I know it was 257 days ago, but I think it's a really good comp and I want to use it, then I would just check this box and it's going to add it in. And again, change the sold price. We can also look at the photos. There are no photos of our subject property because it hasn't been listed on the MLS, so they haven't invited anyone in to take pictures. But we can look at the pictures of the comps. So here's that first one that they picked. And so I can hover over them and look quickly, or I can select it and look at it in nice HD. So you can see that this one was not updated before it sold, judging by the wallpaper, the chandeliers. Looks like laminate countertops. So you can, ooh, that's pretty. So you can know that this one brought that price back here. Scroll back over to there it is. This one sold for 175,000 without being fixed up. So that's good information to know, because you want to make sure if you're flipping that you rehab to the neighborhood. So I definitely check out the others first, but you get the idea. And again, from this page, you can see the ones that the computer is using are blue, the others are not. And I can change that at any time. So if I saw something in the pictures that made me say, ooh, I want to use this one, or I don't want to use one, you can check and change it that way. And then up here, you can click on the map and check out the comps this way, according to where they are. The map's great to know if some of them might be backing up to a golf course or a green space or something like that, and others not. You can get that information from the map. It's also tied to Google Earth. So you can, here's the star, that's my property. Take the little Google guy and check out the neighborhood. So I didn't quite meet him. Hello, lady. Oh, that place was being rehabbed or something. I missed the street that my comp is on. But you can drive around, check out the neighborhood that way. Okay, there's the yellow star. I think it's probably on the next street over because it's not directly on that house. But you get the idea. You can check it out that way, especially this one. Actually, I think I'm going to go back and zoom in and try that drop again, because this house was not on the MLS, so I can see what the outside of it looks like from here. There it is. Now my star is big. So this is the house. So kind of hidden behind the tree, but you can check it out that way. Can, know it's good to know if the neighborhood has bars on the windows and stuff like that or not. This looks like a pretty nice middle-class neighborhood, which would be good if you might think of renting this out. So if you were going to rent it out, you can go here to leased, and you can check out the lease comps in the same way. You can look at the pictures of them. That one is brand new and leased out. And you can choose which ones to keep or not keep. Price per square foot of these for leasing was all about the same. $1,500 for that one, $1,300 for that one. This one is the same exact square footage. Oh no, same exact year built. Different square footage. This one's a little smaller, so $1,350. It's going to be lower, and this one's a little smaller, so it's a little bit lower. So I could, if I wanted to keep track of my rental costs, I could do that same thing to unselect these. And oops, what happened to my rental index? Not sure. But you can check out the rental comps that way. It says $1,598 is my, because there's no asking offer price. That's why there's no rental index. So the rental index is the percent of the purchase price that you can recover in your monthly rent. So if I'm going to rent this for $1,500, maybe I can buy this for $160,000. And there's that 1% rental index. That would be a 14% discount. Or I'd be buying it at about 85% of the ARV, judging by that. So you can play with the numbers this way. You can say, okay, what if I get it for 130 and I put 10,000 into it? That would mean I'm in it for 140,000. That would be a 25% discount, or a 1.14 rental index. So you can play with the numbers that way. That's a cool feature. I can also, if I needed more comps or less, I could go here and change the criteria, of course. I can also go here to report and share. And this is going to create a report that you could send to a business partner, potential lender, if you're going to wholesale it, a potential buyer, any of those things. And the only comps that are going to be showing here are the ones that I left checked. So it shows you the sold comps, all their information, the active, non-active, leased, and then if there were photos, they would be showing here. So one of the cool things about our MLS Deal Finder is you can also save a search to get notifications whenever a new property that meets your criteria comes on the market. You get an email about it right away. And your email that you get is going to look like this report. So it has all the information in it. So you can quickly look at the email and go, nope, not worth my time, delete, or yeah, that's interesting. Maybe I want to look more at it. And then you can also choose, so you can say there are no photos. I'm going to take the photos off my report before I send it to somebody else. So that's kind of a cool feature. I'm going to go back to the CMA. I'm going to follow the breadcrumb right here. You never want to hit the back button. It takes you all the way back to the beginning. So always follow the breadcrumb back to where you were if you want to go back. One word about these non-active listings. There weren't any that showed up in this case, but this is also a motivated seller that you could market to, because it means that the listing either expired because they didn't sell it or was terminated for another reason. So it could be that they still want to sell, but maybe they don't want people traipsing through due to COVID or something like that. So they took it off the market. Who knows? Whatever the reason is, that lets you do that. So what I would do is I'd go to the Cmh criteria And I would see what happens if I max these out a little bit. In fact, I'm going to go out, make it 2 miles. I might get too many, we'll see. And then I'm going to go find comparables. So this is just redoing the comp, but it's going to show, it's expanding the parameters, so it's going to show more properties. So if I want to search those expired and terminated listings,